Energy stored in a charged capacitor. When a battery is connected to an uncharged capacitor, chemical potential energy in the battery will be transferred to the capacitor plates as electrical potential energy. So initially, the capacitor plates store zero charge, and when electrons travel from the negative terminal towards one of the sides, and electrons will travel to the positive terminal from the other side, there will be a charge buildup that's plus Q and minus Q on the two plates of the capacitor. The question is, how much energy does it cost to charge an initially uncharged capacitor to charge Q? In order to answer this question, we're going to go in small steps. So first we transfer a charge of plus delta Q from right side to the left side. So that's how we can think about it, because it's the process of transferring charge from and to the battery is equivalent to transferring a charge from one plate to the other plate. So if we transfer a charge dq from one plate to the other plate, this will be charged plus dq, this will be charged to minus dq. And because the potential difference between the two plates, since they didn't have any charge stored initially, is zero, this will cost no energy to transfer a charge of dq. Now we're going to have a small potential difference that will develop between the plates. That will be dV. And how much is that potential difference? Because capacitance is equal to dq divided by dV, the potential, the charge stored per potential difference, the potential difference that develops will be equal to dq divided by C. So C is equal to charge stored Q divided by V, or dq divided by dV. Then we will have the potential difference that develops between the plates to be dq divided by the capacitance C. Okay. Now suppose that we have developed a potential difference delta V, which is Q divided by C. So we already have a charged Q here, and delta V is equal to Q divided by C, because C is equal to Q divided by delta V. So I'm changing the question from an initially uncharged capacitor charging to plus Q minus Q to a capacitor that was charged to a charge of Q to Q plus dQ. Now, by definition of potential, if you have a potential difference delta V under which you're moving a charge dq, this will cause a change in the potential energy dW, which will be electrical potential energy, potential difference multiplied by the charge. That is basically the work done by transferring this charge dq in the presence of this potential difference delta V. So you can see that the small amount of work that we do is delta V, which is Q over C multiplied by dq. So Q is the charge that was already there, dq is the additional charge we're transferring in the presence of this potential. The total energy stored in the process of going from zero charge to a charge plus Q will be the integral of dV. So that will be the total work done, which is integral from 0 to Q over C dQ, or its integral of dW. And this work that we're doing is equal to the change in potential energy of the system. So we have stationary charges at the end of the process and at the beginning. So basically, work done is equal to change in potential energy, which is electrical potential energy. So if I perform this integration, what would I get? Q dq is Q squared over 2. So if I evaluate it between 0 and capital Q, then I will find the total potential energy stored to be equal to capital Q squared divided by 2C. All right. And since I have C is equal to delta V over Q, or Q is equal to delta V times C. So if I substitute here delta V times C, this will be equal to c squared delta v squared, so c's will cancel, and I will be left with 1 over 2 c delta v squared. So there are two ways to write the potential energy stored in a capacitor that carries a charge q. It is q squared over 2c, or 1 over 2 c delta v squared. So I can write this since I have q is equal to c times delta v, the total potential difference. So once again, this delta v is the delta v value, intermediate value, when I have stored charge q, and this delta v is the final delta v when I have stored charged capital Q. All right, so we have to be careful with this. Delta v is a function of q. All right, so if you wish, we can call this intermediate delta v intermediate. This is going to be delta v intermediate times dq, but delta v intermediate is equal to q intermediate divided by c. The total delta v that we reach here is basically the value at the end of the process. So that's the value we reach here, delta v. Okay, so if we store a charge capital Q in a capacitor, the potential energy stored is q squared over 2c, or if we develop a potential difference delta v between the two plates, it's 1 over 2c delta v squared. Now, this graph seems to suggest that we can continue with this process, but in practice, there is a maximum voltage a capacitor can handle before an electrical breakdown occurs. That means at some maximum potential between these plates, we will start seeing charges hopping from one plate to the other, and that will be an electrical breakdown, so that this will cause discharge. So there is a maximum value that we can reach here. Now, since the potential difference that develops between the two plates is related to the electric field, E, multiplied by D, the distance between the plates, the plate separation D, we can also write this potential energy as U is equal to, for a parallel plate capacitor, capacitance is epsilon 0 A over D, so 1 over 2 epsilon 0 area divided by area of the plates, distance between the plates D, multiplied by delta V squared, this one, which is electric field times D, so it's going to be E squared D squared. So we will see that this D will cancel one of the D's upstairs, and we will be left with noting that the volume that is enclosed by the two parallel plates is the area of the plates multiplied by the distance between the plates. The total potential energy stored is 1 over 2 epsilon 0 permittivity of free space electric field squared multiplied by the volume. So you see we're left with A times D here, which is the volume enclosed by these plates. So if I take this equation and divide both sides by the volume, total energy stored per volume I will call energy density. The energy density in electric field, stored in electric field E, is 1 over 2 epsilon 0 E squared. So this will be in units of joules per meter cube if you're using SI units. All right. And we call this energy density. Okay. So here we have considered energy stored in a charged capacitor. The process is basically a transfer of chemical potential energy to electrical potential energy in the capacitor. So when we transfer charges from the battery to and from the capacitor from the battery to the capacitor plates. So we go from an initially uncharged situation to a charged situation. We call the area of these plates, remember, area of these plates are A, and the distance between the plates D, and the volume enclosed by these plates will be basically this whole region in between the plates, that's area times the distance. How much energy does it cost to transfer a charge Q to a plate that is uncharged? So if we go from Q initial equals 0 to plus dq or minus and minus dq on the two sides, that is to say we have transferred a charge, electrons, from this side to this side, F minus dq, which is equivalent to saying we're having charges being transferred from the battery or to the battery. A potential difference dV will develop, but initially we have no potential difference, so we're transferring charges in the presence of no potential, so this costs no energy. Plus dq and minus dq will cost no energy. But when we try to introduce more charges, then we will be in the presence of this potential dV, which is dq over c. So dV is equal to dq over c. If you plot this for the whole process, the charging process, you will see that delta V is Q over C, that's this process here, and anywhere on this plot we're basically going in steps of dq, we're doing some work dw delta V times dq. So at an intermediate point where I have stored a charge Q, I'm trying to store more charges. So this is my delta V intermediate. Now I'm introducing more charges, so I will go a step on this process where I'm introducing more charge dq, so that the potential will change by a little amount. The work done, the differential work done, dw is q over c dq. So I'm transferring charges dq in the presence of the potential delta V intermediate. So the total work done is integral from 0 to capital Q. I'm going from uncharged state to total charge Q over C dq. This will be the change in the potential energy, since I'm storing charges finally, initially zero charge, finally stationary charges at the plates. So that means I'm changing the potential energy of the system, which is the electrical potential energy. So this integration gives me capital Q squared over 2C, or 1/2 C delta V squared, because Q is equal to capacitance times delta V. Capacitance is the capacity to store charge under a potential difference delta V. Q divided by delta V is C. So this process does not go indefinitely. There is a maximum voltage a capacitor can handle, after which we will have charges getting transferred between the two plates, causing a discharge process. Okay, the delta V, the potential difference between the two plates, is related to the electric field that develops, because electric field is minus gradient of the potential. Remember, E is equal to minus gradient of the potential, and this tells me that the potential difference delta V is electric field times D. Of course, this is all in absolute value. So I have the potential energy stored 1/2 C. C is epsilon 0 A over D for a parallel plate capacitor, delta V squared E squared D squared. I see that I have 1/2 epsilon 0 E squared, area times the distance between the plates, which is volume. The total energy stored is this energy density 1/2 epsilon 0 E squared multiplied by the volume. Of course, here I'm assuming that this is free space. The capacitors are separated by air. Capacitor plates are separated by air. So this energy density, 1/2 epsilon 0 E squared, of course will have an SI unit, joules divided by meter cube.